We had an amazing trip to Spain, so I really hope you enjoy having a look around Seville and also SICAB, which is the big horse fair, and we really enjoyed our time there. So yeah. Guess what? It's raining again, but we are going away on a plane. For some reason, my husband's decided he would like to keep up with the conveyor belt at breakneck speed walking. We're at the airport and there is an advert, which is quite exciting because you don't usually see horses in the airport, do you? Anyway, we are in Seville. So we've just found our way to our little Airbnb, and this is when you come in off the street from here, and this is amazing little courtyard. It's really, really cute. And then inside here is our room, which is actually really, really nice. So yeah, we've got a little cooking area here, so that'll do us. I don't think we're planning to do too much cooking. Have you found the bathroom, Petey? Oh wow! So there's a light. So it's got a really nice bathroom as well. A massive shower, which you don't really expect because it's such a small sort of little space. But anyway, yeah, really pleased with this. Very nice. So you can get food until really late at night in Seville, which is great because we arrived quite late from the plane journey and everything. So we found this lovely bar around the corner from our Airbnb. So we're on our first morning and we're just having a wander through, having had a little breakfast. And we're going to head over to the SICAB exhibition centre a bit later on at like 3 o'clock. But do a bit of sightseeing first. There's a couple of interesting places to go and visit. So we stumbled across this Iglesia de la Magdalena, which was a church, and they had a card reader which you could just tap to give your donation, which was kind of pretty modern considering the setting. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. The amount of craftsmanship in all of this is just absolutely astounding. And you know, the gold, the silver, every single surface of this place was absolutely covered with gold leaf, paint, you know, sculptures, just a really amazing craftsmanship. So yeah, we were really glad we managed to get some time to pop in there. It's really quite an interesting mix of styles as well. Some of it was sort of quite medieval looking, some's quite sort of baroque, and then some of the sort of dolls that they had looked quite modern. So it's a real mishmash of different styles and sort of artistic impressions. Obviously Spain is a Catholic country, so that is why I think they take their religious buildings very seriously, and actually there were workmen working on this building when we were there, so one of the side parts of the building was had scaffolding up and people working and doing traditional restoration, which was quite interesting to see. So we've just made it to the outside of the bull ring. I'm very excited to find a statue that is like, it's a side saddle version of our outfits that we wear for our traditional showing, which is quite cool. So yeah, really amazing statue. So if you see the scarf on the saddle, that is what I'm trying to buy when we get to the show later, because at the moment I'm using a Marks and Spencer's men's scarf, which isn't really correct. But that is called a manta estriba, I think, or estribera. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So just a bit of a disclaimer here. Obviously I don't support bullfighting, but we did want to go and have a look at the bull ring because it's a very historical part of Seville and the cultural history of Spain, and obviously coming to the horse fair and looking at these horses that have been bred for working cattle, and you know, they are working horses, and bullfighting is obviously a big part of that. So we did want to come and have a look at the traditional paintings and, you know, just have a look around really. So yeah, it was an interesting tour, and really enjoyed looking at some of the equestrian artifacts and, you know, just having a look at the building really. So this area is where the horses would be kept before going into the ring. So we've now made it outside into the actual bull ring. Actually, really, I don't know if this is how the sand normally is, but it's quite solid. Like I thought it was quite sort of soft, like a riding arena would be, but it's solid underfoot. This is my husband testing out the part where you can hide behind when a bull starts to charge at you. So we just crossed over the bridge, and now we are going down into this market, which is like a covered market. So looks quite interesting. So we decided to grab a quick lunch here at the market before we got the bus to go to SICAB to the horse fair. If you like savoury food, Spain is brilliant because you get all these lovely stands that you can buy olives and Iberian ham and cheeses. Or, you know, you can just buy little cones of cheese or whatever to eat while you walk along. This was a great vegetable stand that had these beautiful delicious mushrooms. And Pete had a paella and I had an octopus salad, which was really tasty. Wow, that was a very squashed bus journey. I think the other one had broken down, so it was a bit crazy. Anyway, we're now just walking around to the exhibition centre, so we should hopefully be in a moment. Oh, so here we are, we have arrived. Now just got to find Philip. Here is Il Forbio's breeder. So we've just arrived, and it is basically like a giant Olympia by the looks of it in terms of the shopping stands. So really looking forward to having a look around some of the bits and trying to find my spurs for my Doma Vaquera outfits and a saddle cover, hopefully. So one thing I really wanted was a cover to go over my saddle so it stops the fleece getting wrecked, so you can ride in it as well. So I'll just bought one of these. So these are pretty amazing. These are reproduction traditional carriages. So I'm just looking at these. You can get your horse name with one of these images on any of these products here. So I'm actually really low on sort of everyday tops at the moment, so I'm going to get a polo shirt done with this. It was really nice to see all of these beautiful costumes and the flamenco dresses especially. Just happened to walk past and guess what is on the machine? So it's a very buzzy atmosphere. As you can see here, there is a lot for the horses to take in. There's a lot of crowds and people right up against the railings, so it's probably quite an intimidating thing to go and do if you're a rider and you're new to it all. Anyway, this is the Alta Escuela class, which is the high school dressage. So this is the dressage that is sort of the Spanish riding school type costumes and dressage tests. But yeah, we really enjoyed watching this actually. It was nice to see something a bit different. And they actually have Spanish walk, as you can see here, as part of the dressage test, which is very different from British dressage. I have been trying to teach El Forbio how to do that. So this class started off with the lower levels, and then the horses got progressively more experienced as we watched. So we watched for sort of about half an hour, 40 minutes, and it was really interesting. Definitely like the fact there's lots of lateral work in these tests. And here we go, a bit more Spanish walk. I think this is one of the slightly higher level tests, so it's a full Spanish walk rather than just a couple of steps. So the nice thing is you get to be really sort of up close to the horses. It's probably quite intimidating for the horse and riders, but they seem to cope with it pretty well. But as you can see here, this kid decided to randomly pop up just as the horse was coming around the corner, and it didn't bat an eyelid. So it'll be interesting to see if that ever happened at a show in the UK. And I guess this is why Spanish horses have a reputation for being good in crowds and with people watching them. They are quite sort of showman's horses that enjoy generally showing off. I know Il Fourbier definitely is better behaved. The more eyes he has on him, he seems to play up to it. So it's very difficult to get the costumes for Alta Escuela, especially here in the UK, and even at the show I noticed most of the kit that was for sale was Doma Vaquera, which is the more cowboy style of dress, which is what I compete in with Il Fourbier. But this classical type Alta Escuela outfit, it's generally made to measure for the riders, and the hats are very difficult to get hold of. So I believe this is a morphology class, which is basically us sort of showing breeding type class, where they're showing off the quality of the horses and their conformation, and they'll have different sections for stallions, mares, young stock. So yeah, they sort of show them off in quite a flamboyant way with these sort of long lines. I think what's really nice compared to the UK shows as well is that you can just meet the horses outside. So this is the beginning of the evening performance, and this is actually Placido Domingo, the opera singer, being brought in a carriage. I think he was getting some sort of presentation award. My Spanish isn't good enough to understand exactly what was going on, but anyway. So I've had to mute the original sound on this video because of copyrighted music, but I have replaced it with something similar that should hopefully give you a feel of the performance. So we really enjoyed this part. It was a sort of snapshot of traditional Spanish ferias. So when they have the ferias on, it's a Spanish fair, and everyone will gather in their local town, take their horses, they will dress up in their traditional costumes, eat and drink, and it's just a very social time. And it was lovely to see these horses doing such amazing dressage moves like flying changes and half passes, all while having a lady sat behind the male rider. So it's pretty amazing to watch. But yeah, the costumes were just lovely, and these horses are obviously quite happy with what they're doing and enjoying themselves. Yeah, they're very strong, the Spanish horses. They are bred to be very sturdy and workmanlike. So this is a sort of natural horsemanship display by a performer called Santi Serra. He has Arabs and Frisians, I think, and he travels to quite a few different places. I'm sure he's done some tours in England as well, so I've definitely seen him on TV and various videos and things. This bit was quite amazing with the hawks flying around. So you had two hawks that appeared and did a couple of laps of the arena. So So we are collie owners in our house as well, so it was nice to see the border collie getting involved here. I really wish I could put the original music on this. This is actually Peaky Blinders, so it was sort of like a Peaky Blinders themed intro where they came in the flat caps, and then they went into this amazing stunt riding. I mean, this guy looked like he was about to knock his head off on the side of the railings, but yeah, it was very fast and furious and very impressive. I honestly don't know how people have the guts to do this sort of thing. I'd be so scared. But anyway, the horses are obviously amazingly trained and know their jobs. So yeah, and they're very, very fit and athletic people, unlike myself. So this section was based on Spanish high school moves, things like the capriole and all the in-hand piaffe and passage work. So yes, an interesting watch. I absolutely loved this part of the performance. So they had a dressage rider, so a sort of classical, like you'd get in the Olympics sort of type dressage rider, and then they had a Doma Vaquera rider as well. So they were doing this amazing dressage display together, and it was just to highlight the different ways that the horses go and the different kit used. And yeah, it was really fun to watch. And because I've started doing some Doma Vaquera type showing and riding, it was really interesting to see the difference between the two. This to me is just true horsemanship. I think this horse looked very relaxed and happy doing its job, and it just gives a really, really nice picture. And the fact that he can do this with no hands on the reins and just using his seat, that is gold. That's what I want to get to do one day.
¡Viva la Doma Vaquera! ¡Viva Andalucía! ¡Y viva España!
So this was quite fun. They had like sort of Christmassy lights that they put on all the carriages, and they did some sort of race around with picking up balls and throwing them at things, and yeah, I couldn't really understand what was going on, but anyway, they all looked like they were having great fun. So this is the second half of Santi's Serra with his Frisians. I think they're Frisians. They look like Frisians anyway, but yeah. So day 2, my husband got to choose what we did because he'd done a lot of horsey stuff. So this is like a little antiques market, which is quite cool. Lots of books, obviously mostly in Spanish. Really like the impressive architecture and statues everywhere. You know, I'm really into historical stuff. Really pretty place to walk around. Christmas decorations out. I don't know why they look like they're flashing on the film, but they are not flashing in real life. So we stumbled across this area near the cathedral, which is a huge market, which is only figurines. All these tiny little figurines of nativity sets and animals, houses. You can buy anything to go inside your display. So pots and pans, cutlery, miniature fake food. I mean, it is kind of really random, but also really cool. I can see how people would really like to build a collection and keep adding to it as a keepsake for family Christmases. I think all of these animated ones were my favourites, especially these card players and the guy here smoking his pipe. And there's one here with a flame in the background, so it's got a little kind of fake fire. But yeah, they're amazing. I mean, if you were a kid, how brilliant would it be to have that to play with? So this is the cathedral. We didn't go in because we had done a lot of church viewing the day before, so we were a bit churched out at this point, but we were going to the Alcazar Palace, which is next to the cathedral. I have to say, I'm pleased to see that all the horses here actually look really nicely looked after. They're all a nice weight and their feet all look good. It's definitely worth pre-booking to get into the Alcazar Palace. It's quite a fiddly system to book, so do it ahead. We did it while we were in the queue and it was quite a faff, and you do need your passport numbers and everything. So yeah, if you're planning to visit, do it ahead. But yeah, it was a really nice venue to have a look around. The architecture is very sort of varied, and there were a lot of tiles and sort of traditional artifacts. So we have a lovely peacock on one side, my little duck friend on the other side. Duck friend. What are you doing? Hello. You are very pretty. I can see you're eyeing up a bit of pastry, aren't you? Well worth the trip, we really enjoyed that. So while we were there, we decided to go on a carriage ride because there's a sort of point outside the palace that you can take one of these carriage rides. I spent a long time choosing which horse driver to go with.
Can you go up it?
Museum, Naval Museum.
Museum.
they have set prices. So the government sets the price for all of them, so you don't need to haggle or feel like you're going to get ripped off. So, the Andalusian Parliament. So Uruguayan and Chilean government buildings, I think.
Park.
Okay. So this is Maria Luisa Park.
Monument back there, the boys in Seville, and the three ladders and the three ladies.
Okay.
Plaza de España. Spanish Pavilion in 1929. And now it's the government offices.
Okay. Ooh, so back out onto the main road. So these horses are obviously excellent for traffic. It's pretty busy in parts, and some of the vehicles do get quite close to you, but yeah, didn't feel at all worried. Our horse was brilliant. Sorry, the Portuguese continent. This is the Hotel Alfonso, which our driver told us was a very, very posh hotel. He kindly took a couple of really nice pictures for us as well. This is Morita. So she is 9 years old, apparently, and she is very good on our ride. She seemed very relaxed. And, she's like, had nice floppy ears and looked relaxed and happy with life. You're very sweet, aren't you? Cheese. Very sweet. It doesn't even feel sweaty, so that's nice. It's not very hot today. I don't think we would have done this if it was hot, but it was enjoyable. So after my husband had a quick cuddle with Morita, we went to this bar which had an Estrella sign, which is the name of my foal, and more very cool Christmas stuff. So because it's still fairly warm, even in November, there's loads of street artists and things going on outside, so it's a really nice and vibrant place. This bar had some live music going on and everybody was up dancing. So this was our posh meal out. We had really nice steaks, some really good wine, and an apple pie, which my husband had. So our last full day, we had a quick breakfast and then got caught up in this march by the postal workers. And this is the Setas. This is a really interesting area. It seems to be where people come to get their communion outfits, and there's a lot of religious relics. We're kind of near the mushroom, which is the big wooden building that you can climb up, which we're hoping to do later. But there's loads of interesting antiques and lots of traditional dress shops with beautiful flamenco dresses and things. So yeah, really interesting place. So this is me trying on a Alta Escuela Calanes hat, which is very difficult to find. So we are back at SICAB for the Saturday. So we just come for the afternoon, hopefully to watch some of the dressage freestyle and also some of the working equitation speed round, which is later, which I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, hopefully catch up with a couple of friends as well. So a quick picture with Philip outside, who bred my horse. Hello, gorgeous. These horses all are massive compared to El Fulvio. I don't know, 17 hands-ish, I would say. Some are a bit smaller, but yeah, they're very huge. It's really nice that you can walk around and see them. Red hair. Hello. Hello. So this is presumably why Spanish kids can ride so well from a young age, because they have this little riding school at the show that you could just pay to have a go. So this is called the Cobra, and 3 or 5 mares, and it's only the mares they do this with, are joined together with sort of neck collars with bells, and they show them off as a set of 3 or 5. I'm no expert on this, but from what I can gather, they are judged on similar height, colours and traits, so they should sort of move in a similar way and just work really well as a nice group. It's very impressive. They, you know, to handle 3 or 5 horses together, and they do all of this sort of walking away and then stopping, and the horses stop very quickly behind them and are very well mannered. So obviously it takes quite a lot of training to do this. So this clip here just shows you how easily they manoeuvre the horses, and you know, they trot off and then quickly stop like this. It's very impressive. Looking at these Bockman trailers, apparently they're really amazingly strong and safe. They do look quite posh, but you don't have to back your horse out. No front ramp. So unfortunately we got held in a corridor underneath the arena for absolutely ages before they would let us in to watch the dressage. They weren't really very organised about counting how many people were coming out, and they wouldn't let anyone in, and there was a lot of shouting and angry people in the corridor. Anyway, so I only got to watch one test, which was a bit sad. So this is Philip doing the commentary for the working equitation. So this is some of the course walking going on. I noticed everybody was wearing their sombreros for this, but for the actual competition they were wearing hard hats. So I don't know if there's been a rule change that they have to now wear hard hats. Anyway, this is a sideways pole. And yeah, this bit's really quite impressive. So you do a sort of figure of 8 around the drums, and then have to go in a figure of 8 backwards the way you came. So yeah, this is something I definitely want to practice. So actually this little jump caught quite a few people out. A few people did knock it down, and a few people did miss the picking up the vara. The vara is the pole that you use to steer the hoop from the top of the cow, or bull should I say. And this is quite a lot of skill involved here, doing the L-shaped poles whilst holding the vara in your hand. Yeah, this horse had really extravagant changes. He was trying so hard. Very sweet horse. So this is the clover pattern. I've tried this a few times with Il Folio, and that's something again that we want to practice. It's easier if you can do the flying changes, I think. And then at the end you have to pick up this jug and hold it up in the air. So yeah, this chap looked really young, but yeah, he rode so nicely. His horse wasn't a massive fan of the bridge initially, but he did manage to get over. And this is the bell, so it's on an L-shaped corridor, so you have to ring the bell and then reverse back out without touching the rails. This is trickier than it looks, believe me. It got really cold, so we went out to get some churros, which were very tasty. So this is probably the nicest bit. PC's having his rum and coke. I've got a gin and tonic, and then that's the bar. So yeah, it's quite a buzzing atmosphere now, it's the evening. So these are the Escalera stables. Which I found out that Estrella, my yearling, is from that line, so that was quite nice to see. I really liked this horse and rider combination, but yeah, it's a really, really lovely horse. So as you can see, as the night went on, the standards of the horses and riders got better, because I think they were competing at the higher levels. So the changes were a bit cleaner, and just generally they were moving around the course a lot more easily. And this is the speed round, so they are trying to go at more of a pace than the ease of handling round, which we watched earlier. Been a ridiculously long day, hasn't it, PT?
Yes.
We've watched a lot of working equitation.
Far too much.
Far too much, yes. Anyway, we're now in the lift and we are going up to the top of the mushroom, which is called the
Setas de Seville.
Setas de Seville. That's where we're going. So this is the largest wooden structure in the world, and they have this amazing light show that is really well worth going up to have a look at in the darkness, because you can look across the city landscape. So because it got really late doing that, it was nearly 11:30 I think, we just went back to the same restaurant near our Airbnb. And this is Sunday morning, leaving Seville to get to Malaga airport on the coach, which took about 3 hours, but it was really nice to look at some of the beautiful scenery on the way. El Forbio was actually bred near Malaga, so I'm hoping to come back at some point and visit Philip and investigate that area a little bit more. There's nothing like a lovely bit of English weather to come home to. Looking really, really happy in the rain. Lots of puddles for Elf to get used to the water.